Hi guys, I'm back with another video. Susan Rogers, owner of Brow Bella by Susan in Jacksonville, Florida. And if not already, hopefully one day you're licensed and certified professional microblading specialist. That's a bit of a mouthful. I wanted to take some time to do this video to answer some of the most commonly asked questions that I get pretty much on a daily basis about microblading. I did write myself a few notes over there. We shall see if it will help me stay on track. Microblading actually started getting popular in the United States probably about 2.5 years ago. Originally it came over from Europe. Evidently they're a little bit ahead of us at times, and I started getting into it not long after that. Back when I first started, not everybody knew what microblading was. Now pretty much everybody's at least heard of it. Microblading is actually under the realm of tattooing, but it is very different. Now I will tell you, I did have to become a tattoo artist before I could go on and be certified to microblade and do my training. I did not realize in my 50s, early 50s, that would be on my resume, but hey, backup plan if I ever need it. I don't think I will. I think I'll stick with the eyebrow microblading. But it is also different from tattooing because tattooing goes much deeper. It's considered for a lifetime that you will have it. With microblading, I just go to the top level of the upper epidermis, so it's very surface level, and it's considered semi-permanent. If you waited a few years, it would be completely gone. You're not married to it. Most of my clients want to get a refresher touch-up about once a year, so it does last a long time. Microblading, the way it works, let me see if I've got this. See this little tool here? It reminds me of an X-Acto knife. I do not have the blade on it because those are sterile and opened fresh each time I use them. But I have an art background. I can't imagine somebody doing this that doesn't have an art background. And that looks like an X-Acto knife to me that usually has like a flat blade on it. Well, I use a different type of blade. It consists of tiny little precise needles all in a row, probably about 12 or so of them. And what I do is I take my blade, I dip it in high quality colored pigment, whatever color works for you, and then I do these tiny little cuts. If we need to call them scratches, we can, and I do one little hair at a time and insert the pigment in. It looks so real. I can't even tell half the time, unless I look super, super close and study it, what ones are real and what aren't. Very, very cool. And before, the only option we had if we didn't have great brows was tattooing. Well, they can't get as fine as I can with this needle blade that I have. And it used to be just one solid looked like somebody took a Sharpie marker and just drew on the brows. If that's the look you're going for, I'm definitely not your girl. I have fixed a lot of those though. And so let me see if I can show you. I'm going to get a little closer to the camera. I may regret this. Can you see some individuals' hairs there? To be honest, this brow is not real. It's about 2/3 not real. As I started getting older, hitting 50, the hair just wasn't there, and I overplucked a long time ago, as many of my clients have done in the past. So now I get to wake up with those perfect brows, don't have to use makeup on them, can go swimming, still have brows. Very cool, and it's probably the coolest thing I have ever done. I will tell you, if you're thinking about getting this done, I do recommend you do your research. I can microblade my own brows, fortunately, and I do it also, to learn different numbing techniques for my clients and different things, but I can't imagine if I needed to go find someone. I'm sure there's other people good besides me. I would make sure that I had personally seen their work, somebody they had worked on, not just go by pictures. Fortunately for me, most of my business is referrals, so people who come to me have seen my work from someone who recommended me. From what I hear, there are people that aren't licensed. They're doing this. It is so important that they have done all the testing and blood pathogens testing, and this is a very clinical thing. It needs to be very sterile environment. So that's enough about that. Does it hurt? I'm not gonna lie, it hurts a little bit. Everybody is different on their pain tolerance. I work very hard to make it comfortable for you, use a lot of different numbing techniques and creams, and once I've done those initial cuts or scratches, I've got this clear gel numbing anticoagulant that helps with any bleeding also that I can put inside, and that's when you really get numb. I like for my clients to listen to music. It helps relax them, and a lot of them fall asleep, especially those busy moms that have young kids that this is their only time to themselves. They love it. And I take my time and I make sure that it's a good experience from you. I've actually inherited some clients that went to people that didn't care whether it hurt or not. So I want you to come back. So we work on that. As far as bleeding goes, I make sure a couple of days ahead of time that you lay off the aspirins and the Motrins and the Advils or alcohol. If you're on any kind of blood thinner, you need to get a doctor's okay that you can take off of it for a few days, and we can possibly make it work. If you have any health issues, you just need to call me and we'll see if it's something that's suitable for you to do or not. As far as, I actually have some clients who have kicked cancer's booty, by the way, and there are certain times once their treatment is over that we can do this for them. It is awesome that I get to be part of it. A lot of them, their hair never grew back for their brows, and this just makes them feel so good about themselves, frames out their face. I've had them cry sitting in my studio. I've cried with some of them, and amazing. I'm so blessed to get to do stuff like that. Most of my on a daily basis, I'm getting all these texts going, I'm so excited to come see you. And I know they're really excited for, getting microblading done, but it's just a positive experience. They say you never work a day in your life if you love what you do. That's me. And then they're excited when they're leaving. They're looking in every mirror they see. I still look in the mirror for mine. So as far as how long does the session take, I like to block 2.5 hours. If someone's taking less than that, I feel like they're rushing. I want to do quality work. It's not about how much money or how many clients I can fit in the day. In fact, I'd rather not do more than a couple because I want to be fresh for you. I don't want to be tired. That's just my thought on that, if it's a full microblading. I take 2.5 hours. The first part is probably the longest part. It's the consult. We go over brows. We go over what brow is best for your face shape. You show me pictures of what you like. I draw them on until we get the perfect ones for you. And then there's numbing time. There's paperwork while you're numbing. There's some pictures in there and different things. Again, I don't like to be rushed. I like to space some time in between my clients just in case we need to take a little longer. You need to take some breaks or what have you. It lasts usually, like I said, for about a year. There are some people with oily skin, it may not last quite as long. You do have to come back 6 weeks later after your initial microblading so we can do that initial touch-up. When you get microblading done, in order to get the color that you want, we need to go a little darker than that color. Well, some of my clients are a little nervous about that. So sometimes we need to just do the color that looks perfect when they walk out the door. They could go to a party right then. They look that good, but they are going to lighten at least 30%. Some of my blondes get nervous, but in 6 weeks they come back to me and go, I should have listened to you. I should have gone darker. It's only going to be darker for about 5 days. And as far as aftercare, I don't want any sweating or swimming for that first week. You need to maybe adjust your workout a little bit to where you don't sweat as much on your cardio. I show you how to take care of them. They're good for that day. I give you ointment. Just put a very light coat on. Still looks great to go out, maybe a tiny bit shiny. And if you do what I say, they will not scab, and they will get a little flaky and itchy about the 5th day. You do not want to take any of those flakes off, as hard as it is to resist. That's probably the hardest part. And you just want to put some of that salve on a Q-tip and stick that back in there. If you take it off, it'll leave a white patch. I can take care of it at the touch-up, but there's always something to do for the touch-up. There may be a spot that didn't take. There may have been a little bleeding or whatever, and we will take care of that. Actually, I think I've gone over most everything except for the last thing, which is how much does it cost? Well, it's not cheap. It's one of those higher end things that we get to do to treat ourselves. My normal fee is usually $500. $50 for the 6-week touch-up, and then the yearly touch-up is half price. Now, I do run specials from time to time, so always call me and don't hesitate to ask me if I have a special going on. Again, most of my business is referrals. You refer some people to me, I keep up with it, and I give you discounts then too. So there are people that get touch-ups for free quite often because they've sent me so many people. But that should do it for now. I'm sure there's other questions I can think of, but I hope I get to see you. And if you want to wake up or have ever thought about doing microblading, I don't know why I'm having trouble with that word, and want to wake up with perfect brows, you can swim. Still got the brows. They frame out your face. I love it. I go out without makeup on all the time. I used to would never do that. I have makeup on right now because I just finished with a client, but I'm your girl. So get in contact with me, and you take care. Have a blessed day. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.